Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Time for another pickup video. This one isn't going to be as long as my other ones, just due to the fact of what's been going on in the world. Everything's been shut down, so what I'm going to show you, it's not much, but at the same time, I think they're fairly good pickups, and they were done like probably within the first week of March. So it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoy it still. So without further ado, pickups for the month of March, starting off with, again, a game that I can't play because I don't have the system, which is the PlayStation Portable. But Phantasy Star Portable for the PSP. This is an action role-playing game. This game came out in 2009, and it begins a few months after where they left off with the Phantasy Star universe. The main character is Vivian, a newly constructed android, and she plays with her partner. They discover that some seed remain and that they're causing trouble, and they're going to go about through the universe. The game begins, you get to choose one of 4 races and 3 character classes, and you get to do fairly good customizations with your character. It's not one of the more popular of the Phantasy Star games, but I do have a number of them in my collection, so when I saw this, I thought why not just add it to the pile? So again, Phantasy Star Portable, PSP. Okay, game number 2 is another disc one. This is for the PlayStation 2. I do have the first one, and I did play it back in the day when it came out. This is Smugglers Run 2, Hostile Territory. So it's another Rockstar game. In this one, it's another off-road driving adventure. You're working basically for an elite band of smugglers, delivering contraband, escaping the authorities, and attacking, your rivals in sort of like these military war zones on Earth. Basically, you're supposed to make the drop to gather, to pick up the package. You got nitro boosts, and your mission is to get across the border before you get captured and your parcel gets taken off you. Smugglers Run 2, a really clean copy actually, and surprised, but maybe just no one likes these games. Okay, my final disc game that I picked up before we get to the cartridges. This one, I don't like the movie, not a fan of it. Even though Daniel Craig does a great job, just the villains and the way they portrayed it in the movie just never settled with me. But 007, Quantum of Solace. So in this one, Bond is back again. You're playing in a first-person shooter, and as well as third-person action in the game, and as well as it's just your standard. You're going against the world of international espionage through a single-player story, and it includes some of the scenes and actions that took place in the actual movie. Okay, on to the cartridge-based games. The remaining are all for the Super Nintendo. This one I didn't have yet, obviously, but I did have, as I look at my shelves, the first one and the second. This is Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. So this is another platform video game developed by Rare, and it came out in '96. Basically, the plot revolves around Dixie Kong and her cousin Diddy Kong. They're trying to rescue Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong from King K. Rool. They've been kidnapped. And the game is set in the Northern Hemisphere, which is a mixture of like Europe and Canada for some reason. And yeah, if you're a fan of Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, I'm sure you'd want to have this in your collection too. Okay, a game I didn't have in my collection yet. Surprisingly enough, I thought I did, but I have other Turtles games that I must have got confused with, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. side-scrolling beat 'em up that's a sequel to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's a scrolling side beat 'em up. The turtles are watching TV. April O'Neil is reporting, and Krang suddenly flies in and takes the Statue of Liberty. That's right. Moments before Shredder jumps on the TV to laugh at the turtles, at which point the turtles jump into action and get to the Technodrome, where Shredder sends them through a time warp. They have to fight Shredder's army in both the past and in future in order to get home. And when they defeat Shredder, the Statue of Liberty, if I remember correctly, gets returned back to New York. So, fun game. If you're a Turtles fan, you definitely want to have this in your collection. Okay, so the next game on the list is not exactly a franchise that I personally enjoy playing, but I picked it up just because I know other people do, and because of the creator. Capcom game, Magical Quest, starring Mickey Mouse. So this game stars Mickey Mouse. You have to defeat Peg-Leg Pete. And it's a typical, similar to all the games in the series, it's a platform game, and you defeat enemies by either jumping on them or by grabbing and throwing blocks at them. And the game starts off, Mickey, Pluto, Goofy, and Donald are playing catch in the park. Goofy throws the ball, he throws it too far, and Pluto runs off to get it, leaving Mickey alone, and Goofy decides to go and find Pluto. And Mickey realizes that they're both missing, so then he goes and chases after them, but falls down a cliff into a strange magical land. Again, not a game that I'm crazy about, but just because it's a Capcom game, I wanted it. And check it out for yourselves. And finally, for my last Super Nintendo game, one I didn't have, though I do enjoy playing the series. This is one of 5 games in the the second of 5 games in the Super Bomberman series. Super Bomberman 2. So it's a Hudson Soft game. And basically the story is 5 evil cyborgs are bent on taking over the universe. They capture the original Bomberman, and he's placed in a prison cell in their space station. He awakens in the dungeon a magnet bomber and must fight his way to a final showdown. So in the following, there's 4 different worlds in there, so Bomberman has to challenge different bombers, like a Golem, who's a pre-bomber, brain bomber, and plasma bomber, in order to free the Earth and himself. So it's almost like a take on like a Mega Man kind of feel, where he has to fight all these other, main bosses that have special abilities. I haven't played it yet, but again, I do like playing the other Bomberman games, so if it's anything like it, I'm sure I'll enjoy this one too. Okay, 5 more things to show you, and we're done. Get through these quickly. Added 2 more Charlie Brown, Snoopy books, whatever you want to call them, to my collection. Again, just books with issues or past issues of the comics. So Snoopy Roundup and I'm Not Your Sweet Baboo. And I've talked about it in the past in 2 of my recent videos where I've been trying to complete things from my top 10 list of the year. I've added 2 more books to it from my D&D interest that I'm trying to collect. So I found 2 more rule supplement books. The first one is The Complete Book of Elves. And the other one is The Complete Psionics Handbook. I'm not going to go through them really, because it's essentially they're just, words with a lot of pictures, or not a lot of pictures, but just mostly words in terms of setting up missions and characters, and as well as what certain spells do. These ones are from 1992. So happy to add, so far from the start of this year, I think I've added 5 books similar to this. Okay, and finally, one last pickup. I've done a video on it. Check it out. I'll throw a link up somewhere on the screen. But at the start of March, while I was on vacation, I found myself a boxed TurboGrafx 16. I'm not going to go into it in more detail, but check the link in the top corner there if you want to see me unbox this very minty, super clean TurboGrafx 16. Never had one. Cousin had one as a kid, and it's the only time I ever played it. So happy to add it, and check out the video to see what it's like. Leave me a comment, tell me what you thought about the pickups for the month, and don't forget to subscribe and share the video. We'll see you guys again with another pickup video next month.